by them that they hardly notice that you're there. That is not only my dream, that's my goal. I'm wildlife photographer Bill Porter, and I'll take you there.
I walked on the mountain and down by the sea. There I saw the many that share this world with me. We share this world with wild ones, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power of you and me. I wandered down the valley, crossed to the other shore. There's wildlife all around us, birds and bees and so much more. We're always going to take some, that's the way it's meant to be. We're also meant to save them, that's the power in you and me. I woke up to the sunrise, stood there at sunset too. Still I saw the wild ones, wish you had been there too. For with one touch of nature, the whole world had become kin. This message all around us, that's the way it's always been.
Bill Porter's Wildlife Unlimited show is brought to you by Double J Tack, where genuine down-home friendliness, together with the knowledge of horses and equipment, combine to ensure you a safe riding experience. Safe riding starts with safe equipment that fits you and your horse. Jim and Joanne will make sure that it all comes together. So look for their sign, 15 miles west of Marshfield on 8. Meyer Buildings of Dorchester builds a vast array of buildings. They build to suit their customers, whether you're looking for a new horse facility or a well-designed commercial building. Their sales representative and design professionals can provide you with the proper information to guide you through a successful project. They are a family-owned and operated company that has been in business for over 50 years. They strive not only to build quality buildings, but long-lasting relationships as well. Meyer Buildings of Dorchester, a relationship you can build on. Hey, Cherokee Road, what do you say we get started on that new Meyer building? Experience a whole new world in quality wood product. Tritt's Forest Product is your source for unique, rustic, high-quality wood product. Our natural wavy edge siding adds a striking look to the exterior of any structure. Made with a special manufacturing technique, planed or rough cut, it emphasizes the wood's natural knotty characteristics and grain pattern. And for the inside, beauty to behold. Our rustic antique oak plank flooring offers a touch of the past while adding an inviting feel. Our rustic lumber jack pine flooring is truly unique. We'll supply the beauty, you supply the love. What are you putting on here this weekend?
Well, this is a presentation for the Wisconsin State Horse Council for District 2. District 2 is putting it on. This is a demonstration on camping with the horses for people who don't know how to camp with their horses. It's basically a learning experience. It's free. It's something that they can go from area to area to area and ask questions, and we're going to give our knowledge to the general public.
And how about your helper? You want to introduce her?
My helper here is Sharon Petraska, and she's the president of the district.
This is a very wonderful program that we're putting on. This is actually the first time that we have done this, so we're very excited. We got a lot of wonderful volunteers that are out here helping us. And it's a beautiful day today. We really are excited about this event.
We're going to have Nancy Filbert here, and she's going to be giving talks on hoof care, how to take care of your horse's hoof out on the trail. Behind us is the demonstration on how to go packing with a horse, different things like that. We're going to have safety equipment, what to take with you on the trail, what not to take on the trail, what you need to have on your body when you're riding out in the woods, and something that the people out there need to do too is orienteering, how to use a GPS, how to use a compass, and we're going to have a geocaching demonstration. We have little targets set up all around the place that we can go find, and they got little prizes in them.
Okay, and how about my favorite part of this whole thing? Wasn't somebody saying that you was up by the cooking a while ago?
Oh, yes. Yes, they had wonderful cinnamon rolls that she has made over the fire. And actually, they're making omelets that you can put into the boiling water in a bag and boiling water. It is so neat. I could stand all over there all day, and I'd probably learn how to recook it all over again. But all our stations have a very special educational point.
Last time we were up here riding, we went. They have a new trail here. It's a crosses a small river and goes off into the woods. And my wife and I came across two little baby bear cubs romping and playing on the trail. Mama bear wasn't around, so we figured that it was a good time to turn around.
Yeah, Mama's never very far away. I found that a long time ago. If you're going to ride these vast areas, the last thing you need is to get lost. So first things first. You're going to tell me how not to get lost.
Yes, I'm just kind of explaining the use of maps and compasses. Compass is a real simple tool. They will point to magnetic north, which is actually a little different from the true north. The true north is actually the North Pole. Magnetic north is actually 1,400 miles away from the true north of the North Pole, because the compass points towards the Northwest Passage, the shallow Northwest Passage. There's a lot of iron in the ground there, and that's what your compass actually points to.
So anyway, as long as I know that I went in going east, then I got to come out going west.
Right. And in most areas, you're going to be blocked in by a road. So if you leave the road or whatever and ride, like you said, going east, generally you're going to come west to come back out. Compass I like to use is a little ball compass that pins on. That way you're not sticking it back in your pocket if you're trying to go one direction.
But if you're in the new modern age, we're going to do it with a GPS.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I like now, because I have a GPS that I really like. It makes things really easy. Carry spare batteries with you is a good idea. But I also always carry the ball compass. It's attached to the GPS. If you're, say, in a certain spot here and you're trying to go and hit this road, and the GPS is going to tell you you've got to go northeast to hit it. If you walk along with the GPS, watching your progress, it seems like the lag time, you're going like this. So I always take a compass heading, northeast, pick a spot up there, and go in that direction. The GPS will track your movement, so that all helps, but I always use it in conjunction with the GPS. And if your batteries die or something, you still have your compass that is going to work. I also bring different maps to show people. Topographical maps, which have the little squiggly lines on them. If you look at these, the distance between all these lines represents 20 feet change in elevation. So if you look at an elevation on there, see if I can spot one here. Like this one here is 1,700, 1,600. So there would be 5 lines in between those two.
So see, those maps are more than just looking nice. It
Yeah.
looks like they got a nice design on them, you know.
Yeah,
until
those-
you know what the design is for. You know?
A lot of the GPSs, if you can download topographical information, if you have a GPS that has a memory card and store memory, those will also show the topographical lines. They'll show swampy areas, lakes, rivers. Okay, you have your GPS. What I've done is around the campground here, I've hidden small geocaches for people to find. It's going to look like this. It's in a camouflage yogurt container. There's treasure inside. So if you can load these coordinates into your GPS, and then you go to the section where it says go to, find and go to that coordinates, your GPS should lead you to within about 13 feet of this spot. And then you should be able to find the geocache and locate the treasure. So what you
Jeez,
find
it sounds
there's-
like good practice. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's
that'd
good.
be fun, you
We were
know.
playing with it last night, trying to hide them and stuff, and
You know, I could see if it works good and people really enjoy that. Extend the thing, you know,
yeah, well, actually,
and
it's
take it out
global.
on the trail and drop it off, and then say, yeah,
It is
can you?
a global thing. If you go on the internet into geocache.com, there's these things hidden all over the world, and you find the ones in your area, and you can go out and look for them. Most of the time, there'll be a small Tupperware container with a pen and a piece of paper in there. You can enter your name and the date you found it. A lot of times, people will take a small trinket and leave a small trinket.
Geez, very interesting.
Yeah, and
That's
all of these here are all within 20 steps of the trails leading into this camping area here. So they're not hard to find.
Another thing that was not hard to find was the food. I just followed my nose. It smelled like Mexican food way out here.
Oh, I forgot the salsa, Tim, on your walking taco. This is extra good salsa. It's made right Antigo.
Amazing. That is.
I like making mine with Fritos. So I crush my chips all up. Oops, lost one. That dog will help that. Then I take and I put my meat in it. And then I'm going to get whatever other kind of toppings I like from my taco. So I like cheese and some green peppers, black olives, that's butter. So, and then I'm getting some salsa.
Squeeze sour cream.
Right in your sour cream aisle at the grocery store. And then my sour cream. I find my fork. There. We have walking tacos. Ready to eat right out of the bag. You can walk around and go visit while you eat. It's nice and quick to do on a Friday night if you're just setting up camp. You just prepare everything ahead of time, bring it with. Kids love it.
My kind of food. I just love tacos.
Now this summer we're looking at going to Condon, Montana.
Oh yeah? What are you going to do up there?
We're going to look for the Bob Marshall Wilderness and do some investigating there. We heard there's some really exciting trails and some beautiful fishing streams and creeks, and we're going to look for the Illuminous Brookie off of a horseback.
But what we was just talking about here is putting the horse in a trailer and going out to a trailhead like we're at.
Correct.
And doing that, not we got to wait all year and go on a week's vacation or 2 weeks vacation. You're talking about doing this every weekend.
We go pretty much every weekend from April right on down through last year. We finished the first week in November, and if the weather would have held, we'd have kept going. That's our relaxation. In my opinion, there's nothing more comfortable than a horse. There's a lot of people use horses for therapeutic riding, and the therapeutic is for everybody.
You know, I've been doing a lot of driving lately, and my back is bothering me, my legs are bothering me with the driving.
It's time you get back on your horse, Bill.
And I do. I get on the horse, and I ride around for about 15, 20 minutes. I feel great, you know.
And a lot of it's mental. You forget about all the stressful things in the world, and you come back with nature and your horse. And believe it or not, horses are very loyal, very similar to a dog. And they're just as happy, I think, on a trail as we are.
You know, JD always is telling me his horse likes to go for an adventure. And I'm finding that more and more with my horse. Boy, if you go someplace different, the ears are up, he's alert, he's, oh yeah, let's go. You know?
I think JD was a wise man.
I think he is. I know he is. Yeah. As I headed for the next exhibit, I remembered some of the rides I had with JD. Everything was an adventure for him and his horse Dexter. And the stories, like the time I asked him why he bought that old dead horse.
Hey, GG, what in the world did you buy that old dead horse for?
I didn't buy a dead horse, Bill. I bought a nice horse for $100.
Geez, the price is right.
Yeah. Well, the next day he was going to deliver him to me, but he died. Well, I told him, I said, well, I want my $100 back. And he says, no, yesterday when you bought the horse, he was alive, and today he's dead. It's your problem. So I told him, bring me that dead horse. And he said, well, what do you want an old dead horse for? I said, I'm going to auction him off. And he said, that ain't going to work. You're just going to make people angry. Nobody's going to want to buy an old dead horse. I said, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway.
Well, how did that work out?
Well, I sold 500 tickets at $2 each, and I made $898 profit on the deal.
Didn't anybody get mad?
Only the guy with the winning ticket, and I gave him his $2 back.
Well, this is a horse here. His name is Reddy, and he's owned by my client Don Brando. I've been trimming this horse for the past 8 or 9 years. Don has been a very loyal and devoted client. I started with her with a horse that had extreme problems. He had navicular as well as some knee problems and some joint problems. His front hoofs were contracted beyond the vertical. She had gone all over the entire Midwest, spending an unlimited amount of money trying to save this horse's life, and she was at the very end. And I was persistent and taught her about what proper hoof form was, and she had no other choice but to start working. And we got an extra. I can't believe I'm gonna get upset. Yeah, but anyways, she got an extra 3-4 years out of that horse's life, and it really was just a great thing. But anyways, this horse here, he is how old now?
13.
13, and well, I started trimming him when he was pretty young, huh?
Yeah.
And he did have contraction issues. He still does. He's come a long way. He doesn't get the amount of use that he would need on hard ground. He does a lot more ring work that does not force these feet to be open. If you notice, he's got on some blue galoshes on his front feet, and those are what we call soaking boots. And Dawn has been soaking him since last night, since she agreed to do this for us. And these soaking boots allow the hoof capsule to be softened by the use of moisture. And so it makes it a lot easier for me to do some knife work on his hooves and create concavity as well as address the bars. His hind feet, I'm going to spray some spray on right now and get them softened. Please try to do a little bit of work with them before we start, and I'll keep squirting on them until we get to them.
So what are you going to spray on them?
This
Just
is a
some water?
product called Ever Moist, and it's a natural moisturizing spray. It is one of the best sprays that I've used. And I also had a client find this for me. I've got a bunch of great clients that are out there scavenging for fun and improved and new goodies. Yeah, he is. Lots of bugs on him too. Did you fly spray him, Don?
Oh yeah, but you know that.
Yeah, I know that routine. Oh, well.
Now what is that going to do?
That'll help soften the hoof a little bit. Help me get through that hard exterior layer. And
I had him on overnight, and then
help me to be able to trim this. I'm hoping. It's a hope.
My horses have never had better feet in their entire life since they went barefoot and haven't had to trim. I have no cracks. I have a little crack on one of my mares because she grows high heels, and if I don't keep on it, then she starts splitting just a little bit in the middle. But I have not had one crack in any of my horses' feet. Where you see shod horses, the feet are cracked all the time. So.
Reddy does have some contraction issues here. You can see his bulbs are a little bit pinched. And right now his bars are a bit high, his hoof walls are way up. This horse, yeah, everybody can gather around and get over here and look. But, yeah. But these feet, even though they've been soaked overnight, you get an idea of just how hard they are. And, trimming up his frog here. The tip of the frog should be level with the sole, as when the sole draws flat to the ground and flexes, if that tip is too tall, it will get pinched and you'll find a great big red bruise there. This is your hoof wall, this is your true heel, and it comes down here to your bar, and your bar stops at the midpoint of the frog. And his bar is half white and half black. Easy, Reddy, buddy. And I just want to lower that a little. It's plenty hard. But I can certainly get through it.
So how long have you been at this?
9 years professionally, and I had trimmed a year or two ahead of that. Just on my own.
Just between me and you, every time I see somebody do this, they're going to trim the horse or even shoe a horse or whatever, just looks like a lot of work, you know.
It is.
Whatever talked you into staying with this? I mean, there's easier things to do in the world.
There are, but you know, there certainly are. And I ask myself that question at least once a week. But I had a pony that foundered, and through phone instruction and studying on the internet, in 2 weeks I had a pony that was completely down and flat. He was up and moving and dragging me around the yard, and I wrote in my memoirs that if Pat Pirelli were here, he'd be thoroughly disgusted. But quite frankly, I was thrilled. And and then in a few months, I had him galloping, and he was racing and beating my fat white pony. But you know, and I just felt the responsibility. I'm a vet tech by professional trade as well, and I just felt a responsibility and a calling to do it. And you know, there's horses all over, you know, that when I ask myself, is there something easier that I could do, there's horses all over that would be in a bad way if I quit doing them, is I do a specialized trim and address a lot of problems. So
Well, I'm sure you got a lot of horses that appreciate the fact
Yeah.
that you'll do it here. Yeah.
That-
And a lot of owners.
and a lot of owners.
You know,
That's the only
it's
thing
really
I had
something
to-
how much we care about these horses and really want them to do the right thing if we know what the right thing is. You know?
Exactly. And so you can see that we've carved his sole down a little bit. Thanks, Dana. And trimmed him down to where the dirt line is, and the dirt line is where the sole and the frog meet. There's a little bit of a line. And with a hoof trimmed in this manner, it's going to be able to flex upon weight bearing. The bars are recessed slightly to get them out of his way. The heel is open to allow it to flex. And when I put his foot down, focus on his bulbs, and I'm going to see if they're going to move or not for us.
Now, you got the rim around the outside of his hoof is actually high enough. It almost looks like he's got shoes on.
Yeah, well, it's there for a reason. And when you trim a hoof correctly, it grows with every step as there's more blood flow. And if you expose it to rocks and heavy terrain, it will toughen up just like the bottom of a child's foot running barefoot all summer. And for example, Darylyn Butler-Dial, who's the 4-time national endurance champion, she's got well over 30,000 miles logged barefoot, and she does 100-mile rides barefoot. Now you can watch that bulb expand. I'll do that again. And I'm going to pick it up, and you can see that move. I'll rock him, expands, narrows. See those two bulbs move independent of each other. It narrows up. Now it expands and moves. And that's the shock absorber in the blood pump. And if you see him, he's up there licking and chewing because he feels that release. You can go down to this point on the hoof wall and see how it's attached very nicely to the coffin bone. It's a straight sheet of wall. Past this point or this line, for just a guide, you can begin to see how this is beginning to flare out and come away from the bone. I've got a hump here where Dawn has done a little bit of touch-up filing herself. But I'm going to smooth this all out and make one nice straight line. A nice flare there coming on the outside. Scratching him a little up top there. He's a lot to hold on to today.
That's why I was saying, but that's a job when you hold
Yeah.
on to a horse for all that time.
It is.
And we're only on the first foot here.
Uh-huh. A little bit wide here on the inside here. Anyways, now this hoof can continue to grow down straight. If Reddy were a wild horse, these hoofs, this would have all been worn on the rocks that he travels on out in the wilds and the rough terrain. But this is a nice foot for him. Okay, buddy, ready? Come on. There you go. Okay, Don, next boot.
You're going to tell me about these
Yes.
tents.
What we've got, and the reason I've got 3 different ones right here is different types of stuff that we use. These are both things that I might take backpacking, the yellow one and the other blue one over here. But what you saw on the horse trip is this kind of like a lean-to. It's kind of like a tarp, but it's shaped to make a lean-to out of. We did it most of the time by stringing between 2 trees rather than having poles. we didn't even have the poles there. There was one day we had to cut poles for it to set it up, but Sam and I, we were doing where we had the sleeping bags with a bivy sack over the top. What you've got here, and you just slide your sleeping bag right into it, and so we could be sleeping out. If it'd be dry and things, we wouldn't even need. We're trying to decide if we had to have that up every night, or if one night we had just slept out. But the other thing that people can use, this is a two-man tent, and both wings come off of this the same as what we've got here. The other side is like that, so.
You each got your own door.
Yeah. So on the other side here, you zip that down, there's another door there, and there's always space to throw a little gear underneath. So, it's not a lot, but it's some to, at least like for backpacking, to throw a backpack and get stuff underneath, or just you leave your shoes outside underneath this, you know, when you're climbing in. There's room enough in here for your sleeping bag and mats and clothes maybe, but shoes and stuff stay outside.
Now in the Marine Corps, we used to each have to carry half of the tent for a two-man thing. This don't come in halves, huh?
So
how big does this one fold down to, seriously?
So that's what we're looking at for, you know, on a tarp.
And it weighs how much again?
2 pounds.
About 2 pounds. So how much are we going to pack on a horse? How many pounds would you put on a horse, do you know?
That we were packing.
We tried to keep the pack horses. There's a debate on how much weight you can put on a horse. We tried to keep them at about 150 or less, and maybe that's being a little bit conservative, but I think that what's going to screw up your trip is if you sore your pack horse and he gets gall sores under the arms or something, and then you're done. There's nothing you can do to fix that. So you really want to take care of your pack horses, not overload them, make sure your equipment is on tight.
You know, now that you mention it, every guide that I had out there, that was their general rule of thumb. They had a scale. They're weighing everything, boy. If it was over 150 pounds, something had to go.
Well, the other thing that we do, this is a packer scale.
Oh, there you go.
And that packer scale is one of the most important pieces of equipment on the whole trip. And every morning when we load up, we weigh every bag. And you want your right and left side. Some books will tell you within 2 pounds, but we got them right on. And when we put the horse together in the morning, we rode for 20 miles and we never had to stop and adjust our pack horses. You know.
That again made the trip nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, knowing what you're doing with that horse. That's the whole thing. And with their pack horses.
Yeah. No, that's the key to the whole trip.
So 2 guys, you had 3 guys.
On this particular trip, we had 4 guys, and we had 2 pack animals.
2 pack for 4 guys?
Yeah. And what we did, though, is we took half of our food and half of the horse rations. We brought 4 pounds of grain per animal per day with us because we didn't know how good the grass would be. And we dropped that off on the trail about halfway, covered it up, and then when we got there, then we loaded that back on. So we saved some weight there, although if we'd have had to, we could have packed it all together.
Could have packed it all together, Yeah, I know when we was riding, it seemed like we had, I can remember times when there was 3 of us and we had 6 horses all together. You know, we was packing with horses too. You packing with horses or mules? Or?
Both. We had a mule. We started out and we switched halfway through the trip, or actually on the second day. Our mule, I tell you about not getting your pack animal sore, our mule got sore. So what we did then is we took the saddle off the mule, the pack saddle, put it on one of the horses, put a riding saddle on the mule, and then that cinch rode in a different place. The mule was able to continue the trip. Then Mike rode the mule for the rest of the trip, and we packed the horse. So, and that was a horse that we had never packed before, but we just, in the middle of the trail, decided he was going to be pack horse now. So,
now
he did a good job.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you, do you like your pack horses to be able to saddle ride as well, and vice versa? Or
you know, we're amateurs. We're not pros. And I have 5 horses, and they do everything. So,
well, I'd say that makes it a pro. You know, I got 1 horse, you don't do nothing.
If they got to ride a little kid around, they'll ride a little kid around. If they got to carry a pack, they'll carry a pack. And if they want to, we need to cross a river, they'll cross a river. So.
Yeah, great.
Well, this is what we've got here. We've got 3 horses, and they're all packed up differently. And this would be your typical lead horse. And this is a good Western pack saddle. It's made by Colorado Saddlery, and it's really a heavy-duty saddle. It's excellent quality.
Geez, looks like a roping saddle.
Well, it's not. It's a pack saddle, and it's got D-rings everywhere there is to tie gear. There's D-rings everywhere. And, you know, we got an axe tied on one side, and you got your horn bag, which is balanced, saddle bag, raincoat. And then when we go up in the mountains, this is called a britchin. And the britchin keeps your saddle from sliding forward. A lot of people will ride with a breast collar, and that's good to keep your saddle from sliding back. But it's really important when you're going down a steep grade. It's very easy for your saddle to slip forward. So you're going to need a britchin or what's known as a crooper that goes around the base of their tail to keep that saddle from sliding forward. And this is another way, if you want to try packing and you don't want to invest in a pack saddle, these saddle bags, I don't know what they cost, probably $40, $50. And I've got a friend that packs way up into the Rockies. He goes back in about 10 miles, and all he's got is these bags, and he hangs them on his Western riding saddle, and you can pack these up pretty good. So,
now again, you're going to weigh each side. You're telling me that you've got to have that close. You know?
Yeah, you're gonna try. I would put the scale on each side and lift it up and make sure. It's a little more difficult with these because they're attached. When you get the regular pack saddle, those bags are separate, so you can weigh them separate.
Okay.
But yeah, it's important to have their load balanced. This is called a sawbuck style pack saddle, and the sawbuck because of the wooden crosses on the top of the saddle that you hang the bags onto. And this type of saddle is real popular in Colorado. When you get up into Idaho, they use what's called a decker saddle that's got metal rings that you tie the load to, and it's just a matter of preference. But I think for an amateur like myself, or like anybody that might want to get into it, the sawbuck is a really easy saddle to work with. The decker, you have to bundle your load, tie it together in a canvas, and then tie it onto some hoops. This is a pretty easy deal. It's a packing pad. That's not a horse blanket. That is a special packing pad.
Special one for packing.
It's thick and
you also got some straps under the belly there that are...
Yeah, we're going to double strap him. And the other thing with this big thick pad coming down so low is you always want to watch what's in your pack. That you don't want a sharp object pointing into the horse, but you might have a corner of a stove or something. So it's better that the corner of the stove is into this pad rather than into the side of the horse. So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Big, and the other thing is they're really nice to sleep on.
I like it. I like it.
Before we put the bags on, we use what's called a breakaway string here, and this is tied to the crossbuck, and we run it through the crooper part of this britchin, and then we'll tie the lead rope onto here. And then if you get in a wreck, a horse slips on a side hill or something, one horse turkey flies up and scares the heck out of a horse, this will break rather than causing disruption to the whole string. It's safer that way. If they're hooked together solid, really bad things can happen. Once again, with the sawbuck, it's a very easy pack saddle for a beginner. And then we have a top pack, and what we would throw in there would be maybe something that we might have to get at on the trail that we would want to get at easy rather than digging down into here. A long time ago, I was a canoe guide when I was 18 years old, and they taught us you pack for comfort, convenience, compactness, and balance. And I said that so many times that I'll never forget. So that's what that's all about. Convenience, you put your stuff that you might need to get at in the top pack where you can get at it first. This canvas cover is called a manty or a manta. That's going to keep the load dry. And it's also a really important feature to help keep everything together when you're on the trail. We fold that manty up to fit, and then we shove the excess up underneath the pack, and then we're going to tie that in later. We do the same thing in the rear. after I told you how easy this was.
I knew that we was going to get tangled up in that rope. So.
Okay.
I'm good if you're good. Okay?
See, the nice thing about this is now when I go to do that and I get the wrong one there, I'll think, oh yeah, that's the way I was taught. Do the wrong one first.
Make sure you take your film with you.
Yeah. Oh, I always do that, yeah.
To make sure you can get it the right way, because eventually they will.
Now we got it.
Okay.
All right.
You're not going to untie this rope, are you? Yeah, I'm going to put a granny knot in there. And I want you to stay. Got your head on the wrong side of the rope, okay? Now, you wait there while I have something to eat, huh? Good boy. Oh, I'll put a little bit more on the fire. Yesterday when I was by JD, he had told me he had been at a funeral. Jeez, did you just get back, JD?
Yep.
Yeah. What in the world you doing?
Well, I'm polishing your saddle like you told me, Bill.
Well, where you been? I heard that you went to a funeral or something.
Yeah, it was old Jake's funeral.
Oh, Jake? Jeez, I didn't even know the guy was sick.
He wasn't sick, he had an accident.
Well, what in the world happened? Must have been a really bad accident.
Well, it all started when he bought that beautiful white horse from Shorty. He jumped up on that horse, and he says, "Giddy up." And that horse just stood there. He looked at Shorty. And Shorty says, "Well, that's a very special horse. When you want him to go, you gotta say, 'Praise the Lord.' And when you want him to stop, you gotta yell, 'Amen.'" Well, Jake thought that was kind of strange, but he thought he'd give it a try. So he yells out, "Praise the Lord!" Well, that horse took off like a house of fire. And he's headed for that cliff, you know, over by the corral over at Shorty's there.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, well, he, right at the edge of the cliff, he remembers to yell, "Amen!" And that horse just stops right there on the edge of the cliff. Well, Jake was so happy and so thankful, he says, "Praise the Lord."
A couple of weeks ago, I showed where I was at a camping workshop. And Carmen was showing me how to make pizzas, homemade pizzas, right on top of the fire. And ever since then, I've been doing it. So I thought today, as I rode in by the campfire, I thought, boy, this is a good idea. So I brought the ingredients along so I could have one. What she done, she told me to do, and it works out real nice, is to have everything ready ahead of time as far as like grinding up the cheese. I cook up our sausage ahead of time because I like my sausage extra done. But you want anything you want on your pizza, have it along with you, have it all ready to go on. And I'll show you how simple this is. If a guy like me can do it, anybody can do it. And believe me, this is a simple way to make a pizza. First thing I thought is the hard thing would be to get a crust. And of course, it worked out real good for me because I like thin crust anyway. I don't like real thick crust. And so we got some of these tortillas. Look at this. This is as big as my dish. That's going to be good. But some of these tortillas, you just find them in the store. And so then you got that part ready. And of course, you got to have a little sauce on there. And I do mean a little. When I first started trying to make them, I couldn't figure out how come the sauce tasted a little too strong for me or whatever, and I thought maybe it was the brand that I was buying. And come to find out it didn't have so much to do with the brand, is the fact that I was just overpowering the pizza with the sauce. So I learned to skimp on it, if you will. Put a lot less on there. Who would have ever thought Bill Porter doing a cooking show? Probably the least likely person to have cook for you is me. And I like a lot of pepperoni on. Put the spoon out of the way. And so I just layer it on. I put about as much on as I can put on in one layer, you know, without doubling them over. What happens with me is I don't like to stop. So you stop for these big long meals. A lot of people say, oh, I like to have steak over top of the grill and this and that, and I do too. But not in the middle of my ride. If I'm out riding horseback, I want to ride horseback. If I got to stop to eat like anybody else, because you can tell that I like to eat, but stop and have a sandwich, grab something quick to eat along the way or whatever, that's normally my way. But if I can have something that I can cook this fast, then I've got it made. I can have the best of two worlds. Then, like I say, I like the sausage, and I just use my fingers here, but I like a lot of sausage on. I like a meat pepper pizza. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and he says, well, we like peppers on, and we like mushrooms and so forth. And even one person was telling me they like a Hawaiian pizza, so they like to cook entirely with different things on. And it all works out the same, whatever you want. In fact, I think that's one of the best things about this. It's hard for me to eat pizza with some of my friends. They always like this on and they like that on, and I don't want anything on but the basic stuff. Some sausage and meat, and my pizza's great. This way they can all fix their own any way they want to, and if they want peppers and all that on there, everybody's happy. You got your own little pizza there. The other thing that surprised me, and you can see how much cheese and everything I'm putting on. Rose figured this out. She wanted to know how expensive this was going to get here, the way that I was cooking these things. And she figured it out. You know, these pizzas, a pizza this size, with all of this stuff on, and she figures it's cost us less than $1. So if you can be on the trail or even at home, we've been cooking these things at home a lot. Now the idea is just to set this right on top, and I use an old grill that I found, and then you got to cover it up, because it's got to cook from the top and the bottom. So we use one of these pans, like off the top of a frying pan or whatever, and just cover it up. And then try to get it right over top of the heat. You know, pizza ovens and stuff are really hot. Take another look at it here. Whoo, looking good. We got to turn it around. Nice thing about this old thing that I found, got a handle on, so I can turn it around this way. See, it's cooked a little too much on this side, we'll get it on that side. Shouldn't too much, it's just getting about right. Now let's check it one more time. Woo, just right. Just right. Now, look at that. Woo-hoo, talk about a gourmet cook. Boy, thanks, Carmen. This is delicious. Talk about a gourmet cook, and you taught me all in one quick lesson. I've been eating them ever since. Walking tacos last week, and pizza this week. And ever since I've been there, as a matter of fact. Boy, this looks good. Slice it all up. And then, it's all in the eating. And look how nice and thick that is. That's what I like. I think a thin crust and a lot of ingredients. Mmm. Mmm. Thanks again, Carmen. Doing dishes is fast. My kind of cooking. One thing is make sure you get these fires put out. And I mean put out. This great country can only be helped by us. We have to protect it. So put out your campfires. A lot of people are not even using campfires anymore. They're using propane fires for cooking and so forth, especially out on the trail when you're out in the middle of the woods or whatever. But be safe with these fires. Buddy, how about a snack for my buddy? Huh? Yeah, you gotta have a snack too, you know. Yeah, that's a good boy. Huh? That's a good boy. Yeah. Yeah. If we're gonna stop and have something to eat, how about a little something for the horse? Yeah. He likes to have a little snack when he's on the trail too. Yeah, you're eating real fast here. Yeah. Be careful. One more. Whoops. Carmen, again, I want to thank you. I didn't mean to steal your thunder. You look a lot better cooking than I do, that's for sure. But as you know, I ran out of battery when I was up there. Not only missed out on filming you cooking the pizzas, but also several other of the things that happened that day. And I apologize for that to the people that I didn't get to put on, because their workshops were just as interesting as the ones that I filmed. So maybe next time I'll get to do it. Oh, stay. Don't forget to call me about where you're riding and what you're doing. Maybe I can come and join you. Join us next time as we vacation by horseback, riding and marveling, yes, feeling our surroundings. You'll see it as we did from our horses. I'm Bill Porter, inviting you to see this great country from the greatest seat in the world, your horse. This time, as I rode, I marveled on how different the world is when you see it from horseback, instead of racing by with a car. And I wondered what you're seeing and enjoying with your horse. So as I invite you to come and ride with me, I would like you to send me pictures of your rides, or just what you enjoy most with your horse. Tell me where you like to ride. Maybe I can come and ride with you. Let's ride this great country together.